Hey folks, hope you're well. You might have noticed in the past few videos I've done that I'm not actually sure where the camera is on my new phone. I think it's like there-ish, but in all the pictures I'm like over here, or I'm over there, or I don't know where I'm supposed to be. So I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to figure it out very quickly, I think, because at the moment, every time I think it looks right, I do the video and I'm all the way down here or I'm all the way up there. I am learning that my posture's a bit off as well. So yeah, today, thank you for responses yesterday. It's been a while since I've done a video, so it's nice that people are still watching. I'm taking these off, they're in memory already. It's been quite a weirdly peaceful day. I was the only one home. I was working from home, so it's just me on my own doing work, having meetings, and just generally chilling out while I typed up important stuff. It's end of year rush at work, so this is quite a stressful time. But being able to just get my head down and go, right, I need that, do that, and just chase and keep all the plates spinning was actually quite good. It just gave me space. I had the meeting with Ollie's Senko, and we went through the exclusion last week, plans moving forward, how they generally felt about everything, and it was really positive. I was worried about the meeting and how it was gonna pan out because I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't know whether the head was going to be there, whether they were going to acknowledge the email I sent them, whether they were going to sort of be offended or anything like that, and they weren't. They just basically went through and said, I'm just going to read this, I don't mean to be sort of rubbish by reading, I'll try and hold it up so I'm sort of making eye contact with you, but they basically said that the exclusion was a result of him getting physical in his frustrations, and that they accept that that is part and parcel of his autism, but obviously it's something they can't just ignore because it puts him and other people in a difficult situation. Now, that is difficult to work with because I agree. And I've said, and they made a note. I said, we can't just let him do it and kind of just be like, that's the way it is. And I know that some people put comments to that effect in the video yesterday that, yeah, I'm not saying I'll let my kid do what he wants. I'm not an idiot. It's just difficult that when things don't go right, he's going to lash out because he's so upset and he can't handle it and it doesn't work, and things just are hard to endure. It's just the way it works. Any of you with kids with autism can't speak, or if you are autistic yourself, everything is just ramped up. The emotions, the feelings, the senses, they're all ramped up, and that is what it's like for him. I did explain to them that I feel they often don't necessarily perceive the triggers as they go. For example, one of the times where he'd hit out was because they'd been having a go at him about this apple that he was trying to feed to the birds, and I sort of explained to them that from his point of view, he'd thrown it down on the floor for the birds to have. He was waiting for a bird to get it. They started on him to pick it up now, put it in the bin. He was like, I don't want to. They didn't really ask him what he was doing. I said, what I'm finding is rather than confronting him about the behaviour there and then telling him what he's doing is wrong, ask him, what is it you're trying to do? Like, what's your thought process? Because not because everything needs a thought process or a justification, but in that sort of incident, why have you thrown that on the floor, in an inquisitive kind of way? If he'd have said, well, I want to feed it to the birds, and they say to him, well, the birds aren't going to eat that. That birds don't eat apples just fresh off the floor. If anything, that's going to be a rat. And if anything, that's going to be a problem because everyone else is going to throw stuff on the floor. Then he'd probably have gone, oh, damn, and picked it up and then gone about his business, and it would have been diffused. But because they said, pick it up, he said no. They said, right, that's a red slip. And then it all kind of escalated. It became a problem. And they agreed that they've noticed the same thing, and they've made a list of things that they want to start doing. They've started to redraft his behaviour plan, and one of the things was looking at triggers like that, where they say, you can't do this, or this is coming to an end completely abruptly. They're saying we should give more warnings, we should give more planning for this, which they have been doing. It's just getting hard for them to kind of get it right all the time, and when it doesn't go right, that's when they're finding the issue. So she was saying actions for them. So we agreed that I don't want to use autism as an excuse to just let him hit out. It's something that we need to work on and try and teach him not to do, and we're going to work on that together. That they want to teach him to be prepared for the future. They've got autism outreach involved. They've been really helpful. They wrote a 3-page report on things they'd noticed, suggestions that the school could do, rearranging part of the classroom, rearranging so that Oliver's got a chill out zone. Well, not just Oliver, but the other kids have got chill out zones. They've got a sensory area. They've got a quiet area. it was really useful. They pointed out that throughout the day he could earn special Lego bits to go into the Lego work he does when he's in a chill out, when things have got too much for him. They talked about just other spreading the TA a bit differently, because at the moment she was all in the afternoons, so now they've got her coming in at 9 until whatever, with a little gap in the middle for break. And it means that instead of her doing like her 6 hours or whatever, she's doing 3 and 3, whatever it is. They were basically telling me that they'd stretched that across, and we talked about how they're hoping they can get that to stretch all the way by getting a bit of help from the EHCP. They're doing the EHCP meeting, although COVID is obviously affecting that. We don't know whether there's going to be a face-to-face meeting, whether there's even going to be a school next week. They're setting up a proper daily pad for his daily routine. And what else did they say? Well, they're currently looking at creating positive behaviour charts, getting more autism outreach and stuff like that. But they did talk about things. He's constantly hungry, and it's a big problem that we're having as well. I was trying to explain to her that when I went out and bought a 24 pack of crisps, someone thought I was panic buying and got really arsey with me. And I was like, I'm not panic buying. I didn't say this to them, but in my head I was just like, I've got 3 kids. They all eat a lot, but one of them will get through multiple bags of crisps a day, and he obsessively just eats. And that 24 pack isn't going to last like more than a week. I think I said this yesterday. It was just like, that's going to cover, even if it was 5 bags each, that would only leave sort of 9 bags for Claire and I, but that's not how it's going to work. It's going to be more like sort of 10 bags for Ollie, and then 5 for the other 2, and I've had 1, so Claire will probably have 1, and it's like, it's just, that's how it's going to work. So it was quite fun talking to the Senko, because she was sort of jokingly kept saying like, you've been hoarding, haven't you? You've been stockpiling, I bet. And I was telling her I wanted to make the pantry a sensory room, but it's rammed with food at the moment. And she's like, I knew it. I knew you'd been stockpiling, which I thought was funny. And then we talked about his sleep routine and trying to get him to just go through different patterns. Now, we talked tonight beforehand. They were in there watching telly, and Claire and I were chatting, and we were saying, right, we need to do like a period where he's downstairs, but he's not got anything electrical on, and we're just chilling out. Unfortunately, it didn't go to plan. We couldn't get him to it was like we couldn't just abruptly spring it on him that this was turning off and we were going. So we just said to him, finish what you're watching, we'll all go up together and we'll all take it easy. And normally the plan is I go in and I sit on the rocking chair. I've got this rocking chair. I think I probably told the story before, but Claire really wanted a rocking chair before Ollie was born. I went to a poker tournament with Kevin and came 6th, and I won just enough money to buy this rocking chair. And it was like, I like to joke that I won it in a poker tournament, but I won the money, bought her the rocking chair. It was a great present for her, like a birth gift kind of thing. She was well chuffed. And it's been in Ben's room since he's been born, really. And so at night, I lay Ben on my shoulder. He's quite big now, obviously. Claire can't do it because she's too small. He lays on me, and I just sit there, and I just sort of snooze. It's probably the most peaceful time of the day for me and Ben. And normally he just rests here. For some reason tonight, Ollie was in Ben's room and didn't want to leave. And I was going to say to him, come on, you have to get out now. I need to put Ben to sleep. But in the end, I just went, do you want to join him? And he was like, what? And I said, well, how about I have Ben there and you there, and we both just sit here. We just chill out. And Ben was asleep within like 4 minutes, if that. He just goes out like a light. The only reason I'm in there for any sort of time is because I usually doze off and I get a text from Claire, or she knocks on the door, or I suddenly wake up and think, what time is it? What day is it? Where am I? But this time I sort of said to Ollie, get up a minute, I just got to put Ben down. And Ollie just lay back on me. And we just sat there in the dark for like 20 minutes. And it was so peaceful, and he was like whispering to me little things and just asking me little questions. You could hear my heartbeat. He was so relaxed, and I just thought, this is perfect. This is the answer. Like, ironically, I'd just been given this whole A4 page from the Senko of things we could try, but actually, just letting him lay on me like we do with Ben, he was just great. Just so relaxed. Some absolute numbskull out back set off a firework, which scared the bejeebers out of both of us. It must have literally gone off above next door's garden. Like, we were both just, I could see his eyes just widen tenfold. But I said, all right, and he lay back, he calmed back down again. After a little while, I was like, I don't know what time it is. So I convinced him that if he went in his room, Claire would lay with him in the dark again. So now they're just having a cuddle upstairs. But he seems so chilled out, considering 20 minutes ago he was absolutely, well, half an hour ago, I've lost track of the time. Before that, he was just all over the place and busy. And now I'm just thinking, actually, that was brilliant. And Ben really enjoyed having him there, and I think that's going to be our new routine. It's heavy. I'm like squashed under the pile of them, and as they get bigger, it's going to get worse. But that was nice, and it's chilled me out. I've been feeling. I keep mentioning I've been feeling off. I've been feeling weird. Today has been a very good day for just brain space and chilling out. I'm conscious this is 10 minutes into the video already, but I did want to cover more how I've been off for like a month. I've been off for longer, but it's been bothering me more for the past month, and it's been getting hard. And I kind of, like, it's not hard to talk about, but it's awkward to talk about. I kind of hit a bit of a wall last night, and Claire and I, we were talking, and then it kind of, something silly turned into not an argument exactly, but a very frustrating situation where it was almost like we talked, and then I sat there waiting for Claire to talk. She'd misheard what I said. I think I'd said something like, sorry for being weird, and she heard, this is weird. And then I lay there waiting for her to respond, thinking I've just apologised for being a bit off, because I was just feeling a bit, I felt bad for just being a bit off. Not that I'd done anything, I just felt like I was being frustrating. So then I just sort of moved away, sat down, and was just like, all right, we were going to bed, and I was like, I'm going to bed now. So I just sort of lay there, said good night, and then after about 10 minutes, I was like, I can't believe you didn't speak. Like, my brain was just racing and racing and racing. And she was like, you said good night, you said this is weird, and then went to sleep, and I just don't know what you wanted me to say. So we ended up chatting, and I was just like saying, I just feel really down. I feel really I'm just not right. I feel like I'm a mess, and it's all just, I can't fix it. I don't know what to do. And she was kind of like saying, yeah, I've noticed, and I've been getting frustrated with the difficulties with Ollie and the difficulties with just everything. And we were saying, I don't think it's related to what's going on in the world, because it was kind of before that. And that's been something I've been focusing on to take my mind off it almost, which is weird, I know. But I said to her, one of the things I've been doing to try and fix it, we agreed I should have spoken to her. But one of the things I have been doing, I follow a lady on Twitter who's an amazing artist. She's called Nikki_draws. She is an artist. She draws comics. She did a podcast about board games when I first knew her. I think she does more about comics and games now. I can't remember exactly what her podcast is called, which is rude because I should plug her, because she's brilliant. She's a really good artist. I recommend you follow her. But anyway, she tweeted that she was feeling anxious and unwell, and she's got this app called Woebot, Woebot, and the idea is it checks in with you every day. It just asks, how are you? It talks to you about some stuff, and it just generally gives you little things to think about and do. And the idea is, the first time I used it, I was just like, whatever the most miserable button was, I pressed it, and it's like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. And it's like an AI sort of programmed thing that just sort of says, oh, I hope you're okay, and what's the reason, or what's making you feel bad, and it give you things to press, and then it will ask you questions like, do you think like this? And so it makes you recognize when you say things like, I'm always an idiot, or I'm always this, or this is always wrong, or I can never do any, like absolute full on state. I can't remember the exact phrase they use, but it's like absolutes, like black and white thinking. You're never this, you're always that. You don't do this, you do this. And it challenges your thought processes. It is using cognitive behavioral therapy, amongst other things. So it's been useful because it's been tracking how I feel each day, making me think about it, and then pointing out if some days I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty good. Some days I'm like, I feel tired, or I feel okay, or, it celebrates feeling okay or content. I think one day I put that, and it was like, that's awesome. It's been talking me through the causes of things, how I react to things, the fact that everybody feels this way, and that kind of thing. And when I started, I thought, this is really twee and not for me. And it didn't make me feel great 2 days in when it told me it was designed for mums dealing with postnatal depression. And I thought, I feel really guilty that I'm almost using their app. Do you know what I mean? I know that's just irrational nonsense. Later on, it explains that it's not just for them. It was originally made for mums with postnatal depression, and then it's built into this bigger thing. It does say on it, it's for, women, men, children, anyone who needs it, basically. And yeah, it has been helpful. I think it made me realise quickly that I was being silly, not in a negative way, just that I was, thinking things that weren't right, or I was being downbeat. And I think with its help, I was able to then talk to Claire and just say I really didn't like how I felt or how I was, or a lot. I just didn't feel right. And talking to her about it made me feel immensely better. I feel like I'm just stating the obvious. Talking about it makes you feel better. Focusing on the thoughts and challenging them makes you feel better. But if you feel sad or anxious or unhappy or anything, or just generally, I felt really toxic, like I was messing things up or that I wasn't doing things right. And some of that was just me being silly, but some of it was just generally not being happy with the way I was responding to things or the effort I was putting into things. But yeah, it has been nice getting that out of my head. I always talk about the bubbles in my head that need to be solved, the problems that I need to get rid of. And that was just one that I feel has got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger over the past month. And the fact that I'm even doing videos again shows it's helped, because I'd stopped doing them because I was just feeling terrible. It was funny, last night I couldn't get the video up. I was trying to upload it and it was telling me that it was taking 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It just wasn't working. By the time I'd actually got it up, I'd convinced myself that I shouldn't have even done a video, that it was just a complete and utter waste of everyone's time involved. No one wants to watch this. Why am I doing it? And it's insane how spirally that got. I was sad about the video. I was frustrated about the video not going online. And then I just convinced myself I shouldn't have even done it in the first place. And even I went on old Woebot afterwards, because it checks in with me at 8:30 every day. And by that point, I'd missed it because I've been doing the video. So I checked in late because it sends you little notifications. And I just sort of said I was frustrated or whatever, and it just talked me through it. And it was interesting because it helped. I watched some TV with Claire, and then obviously we had a bit of it wasn't an argument, it's a discussion. It was more of an unloading of feelings. But yeah, I feel all right. It's good. It's positive. Today has been very positive. It's just, it feels like everyone's trying hard to make this weird situation we're in work. School are trying hard to make their situation, which is difficult with Oliver, work. I do feel like the Senko and the teacher especially, everyone's doing their bit and their head's in a difficult position. So I'm not blaming anything on him, but I feel like the Senko and the teacher are really pulling forward. And yeah, I feel like Claire's helping me. I've had an update on her work, which has been useful, that it's been a catch-22. I mentioned yesterday how they hadn't told them anything to do, and that management, I think I put it on the video, the managers had said for Claire's team and everyone to only communicate with them via video conference and not in person, because they didn't want to catch any viruses. So Claire was still just going out on visits without, and management were safe, and it seemed really unfair. And then today they've said no more visits at all, and anyone vulnerable has to stay at home. But Claire and like a quarter of her team, if not less, aren't vulnerable, and now they're the ones who have to go and deal with all the really, really, really critical stuff, which is important. But they're like they're like the ones now who have to be sent into literally the most worst things happening. The ones that apocalypse or not, you can't not help. So on one hand, I'm really proud and I'm really impressed that she is now elevated to this level of importance, that if she has to go out, it's for critical stuff. But on the other hand, I'm really nervous for her because it's going into the unknown and it's dealing with a really mad situation. And it may not be anywhere near that bad. I was chatting to her, she's like, some of the cases are really low level, they just could be bad, you have to go in. It's just typical, because I was hoping that she'd get told to stay home, and she still might. It's so unknown. I think I definitely mentioned yesterday that there wasn't social care the last time there was any kind of pandemic or war or anything. So this is completely unknown. They don't know what they're doing and they're just winging it, and it's just a bit mad. So yeah, other than that, I'm not worrying about that. I know Claire's got it in hand. I know she's going to be fine. She's healthy. It's all good. But it's just, I'd like to have them all in here, Upton Cotton Wall, and then I'd feel fine. I'm hoping they cancel school at some point in the next day or so. Schools are shutting here now, which is interesting. It was raised that Emily's not elective trip, whatever it's called, the school trip they go on where you're away for a week is probably going to get cancelled. The little mixed tickets I got for June are probably going to get cancelled. I was just saying to her, I'm really sorry, all your stuff might be getting cancelled. I said, I will make it up to her. I'm assuming we'll get a refund of all the bits we paid for. And I said to her, I'll make it right, which she knows I always do. Last time I made it right, she missed a party, and I think I ended up I saw that Kindles were 30 quid on Amazon. I got her a Kindle, filled it with books, and she was absolutely blown away. And she was well happy with that. So I said to her, look, remember that, that's what I'm talking about. I'll find something that makes you just go, wow, that's incredible. I don't feel bad about that thing at all now. And she was just like, cool, okay. Because it's not fair, is it? It doesn't really affect Ollie or Ben. You know, I'm just working from home, working around it, but she's systematically having the SATs she's spent all year working towards. She's just done her mocks, the faffing. I know SATs aren't particularly lifelong important, but they're really, her and her friends are taking it seriously. They want to smash it, and they might not get to do them at this rate. That's insane. So I do just feel like her year, she's in a very precarious place, kind of like kids doing their GCSEs. You're in a precarious place. GCSEs seem like the kind of thing they'd probably still push on and try and do, but SATs, I feel like they'd probably just go, nah, do you know what, don't worry about it. I don't really know what's going to happen. I'm speculating. It's impossible. Right, I'm going to wrap up. I will point out, and I'm going to acknowledge this because you'll have seen it. I keep looking over here because that's where my screen is. I keep trying to focus on this dot, but I can't help but look at my face. I'm really vain. I can't help myself. I'm actually thinking I look really pale, but it might just be that I think it's the white light on me that's making me feel like I can't stop it. I just keep I'll be looking and my eyes will just glance across. Now I know how my colleagues feel when they have to sit in the same room as me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're all well. Let me know how you're getting on. Usual stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm trying to get a run going. I'm trying to just get back on the horse and do it every day. I hope you're all getting what you want out of it. And yeah, just talk to me in the comments. Just usual stuff. I'm here for chatting. Cool. Cheers. Bye.